think that
during
people
the
have.
eating, the hiccups.
I don't understand the people who are like whenever I'm like, oh yeah, I had Taco Bell last night. Like, oh, enjoy the awful diarrhea, and it's like, you get horrible diarrhea when you eat Taco Bell, or like when I was talking about like all I ate when I was in prison was chili. They're like, I guess it was diarrhea every day, huh? Like, no, it wasn't at all. I can eat things like chili and hot sauce without having butthole problems.
I don't know how you could have that much fiber and hold it in for so long.
I don't know what was going on. Dude.
That's just insane.
It was just
beans
stress.
are like all fiber.
It was some kind of stress reaction. I don't know what was going on. It was just, and when I finally did poop, I don't remember it being extraordinary or anything. Like once I got out, it's like maybe I was just absorbing 100% of that chili.
Like Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
Anthony Cumia asked this question of you, and I had the same thought process, right? So like, me, I hear this idea of going to prison and think like, oh my God, like, what is that? That's a whole different life. It's foreign. But when you're there, you're like, well, I'm still me. I just live here for a little while. Like, I'm not putting the question into words. It just became your new normal for a while, right? Or just a challenge?
Yeah. I mean, I just got into a routine. Like I just my thing was I broke every day down to like every hour needed to be filled with something, because you don't ever want to just be sitting there staring at a fucking wall. So I would try to find things to do. Now TV helped a lot, because so like if you can go watch like 2.5 Men, which is a show that I actually like. It was on every weekday for like 2 hours, 4 episodes in a row on TBS, I think. And me and Snow watched that every fucking day. So it's like, all right, from like 10 a.m. till noon, I know what I'm doing. I'm watching 2.5 Men. But like, you wake up at 5:30 a.m. That's when the lights fucking turn on. So 5:30 and it's not early for you anymore, because there are no big nights. Like there's no point where like, yeah, had a ball last night until 9 p.m. when they turned all the lights off.
Is that when they turn it off?
Maybe 8:45 or 9:45. I don't remember anymore, but it was one or the other.
Is that bedtime? Like,
it was bedtime for me, but most of the guys, it was bedtime, and some of the guys would watch TV into the night. You could watch TV all night if you wanted to. You could just stay in the TV room watching TV, and some guys would, especially on like, there were some nights where like a show would come on at 10 p.m. and everybody would be up to watch it, or 9 p.m. Something called, there's like a Kevin Costner TV show called Yellowstone or something like that. And then there's some other like show called Queen of the South or something that are like cable channel. They're kind of like tent pole series, but on cable. And those guys were really into those two shows. So they'd never miss an episode of that. There would literally be a post-it on the TV reserving that TV for that show tonight, like letting everybody know, hey, we're coming back at 9 p.m. and we're going to watch Yellowstone or whatever the fuck that show was called. So yeah, there'd be people up all night, but I did that literally 3 times where I stayed up really late watching TV, or even past like lights out. When the lights went out, I was going to bed. You know, sleep was the best way to kill time, right? You know, so if I could go to sleep, I wanted to sleep as much as possible. If I could sleep 10 hours a day, that was perfect.
If you could 2-month coma, you might have picked it.
I would have picked it. I absolutely would have picked it. Like on the weekends, on the weekends, you don't have to you don't have to make your bed or get out of your bed. So on weekdays, bed's got to be made at like, I think it's like 10 a.m. or something like that. And
that's not that bad.
And it has to stay made all day. You can sleep in it still, but you got to be on top of the blanket.
Oh, that sucks. That's fascism.
Which I would do. I got no problem with that. And but on weekends,
did you cover yourself with anything?
I had a sheet, so sometimes I cover myself with that sheet.
Sometimes that makes a big difference.
Yeah, it would. You know, the guys who've been there a while had multiple blankets because they had bribed somebody, but I had one blanket. But on weekends, I would not get out of bed until like I really had to piss. And then I'd go piss, and then I'd try to go back to sleep. So best case scenario, I can stay in bed until 2 p.m. in the afternoon, maybe 3 p.m.
Were there other people employing this tactic, or no, just you?
I noticed that the people would start employing it more when their time was getting short. Like when they had like a week or two to go, they'd really start getting lazy and
We're
trying
just trying to grind.
trying to get as much of that time gone as possible. Like I saw a couple guys around me that did exactly that. But for me, I was short time anyway. So every day was that. So like people walk by like, man, you gonna get out of that bed? I was like, no, no, I'm gonna sleep some more. You're gonna ruin your back like that. Don't care. Don't care.
Nope, I'll only be here for another 6 weeks.
2 months, not 2 years. I'm gonna sleep my way through
interesting
this.
health advice though. Like I feel like they've seen it. Like, oh, I'm telling you, we had this guy, whatever, Lewis in here, ruined his back sleeping too much. And
man, if he keeps his asshole glued to that bed like that, we're never gonna get him.
It's like he knows.
It's like he knows something's up. You think it's because my dick's out?
As he strokes it.
As he's stroking.
It's like he knows we're after him.
I've been telling you for the longest time, don't get it hard. At the very least, don't have it hard when you show up, man.
Yeah, I would do so. I would wait. I had a schedule. I would do the same thing almost every single day. Wake up, go piss, get my water jug full. I had this enormous water like thing that's like insulated. Fill that thing up full of ice water, and get dressed. Go work out for an hour or two. Shower, and then it was like read the book until reading got boring, and then watch TV until somebody made me stop. Like the guards would make you stop watching TV sometimes. A new guy came in like midway through my stay and was like cracking down on the TV watching because some of us didn't have jobs. So then I'd go hide in the library and read there because they never came and checked in the library. Could have been doing anything in there. Nobody would have known. And just always try to find something to do. I stopped going to meals after like the first week. I didn't go to breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I just ate my chili. I was so addicted to it. I loved it so much. I would dump so much I went through 3 bottles of sriracha. I was putting so much sriracha in that fucking chili. I just wanted to, just tears pouring, blowing my nose. It was the highlight of every day.
The highlight of every day
was the highlight of every single day was eating my little bag of 300 calories of chili covered in siracha. It was like, oh, it's sriracha time. So yeah, it was just about
the small things.
It was just about killing the time one way or another, making the hours pass faster than they normally would.
But that's a short timer strategy, right? Which is, you were a short timer, but so.
Yeah. Some of the other guys like got jobs. That was the way to pass like more than 2 months. If you're doing 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, seemed to be to get a job, and if not 2 jobs. Like one of the guys that I was friends with, that's what he told me. I was like, why do you have 2 jobs? He's like, oh, I got 3 jobs. I was like, why?
Because that's what it takes to pull in $1.50 a day.
He's like, just killing that time, man, killing that time. He worked in like the auto shop somewhere else, and then he did like leather working, which was like a hobby type thing you could do where you made shit out of leather. Like he could make belts and
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, he made cool shit. He made purses. He literally made bootleg Louis Vuitton purses for his girl on the outside and would mail them out to her, and they looked legit.
How good were they at making sure he didn't take anything that could be an improvised weapon, right? Because auto repair and leather work, it seems like you could get something out.
Nah, if somebody wanted a weapon, they had a weapon. I mean, there was just stuff laying around that could be used as a weapon. You know what I mean? Like
a pencil, or
not like steel spikes out in the yard. Weights, like rebar, chunks of rebar.
That can be a good weapon right there.
Yeah,
they had heavy as shit.
They had like rebar that they had like driven through those wooden things to like separate the grass from like the bushes or whatever.
Landscaping wall of some sort.
Landscaping lot. Yeah. And I remember looking at that like, I guess they're not too tight on would-be weapons here. Because like all of I was just, I'm probably like anybody else. I was like, that's a weapon. That's a weapon too. Oh, this is a weapon. I hope nobody wants to hit me with anything. Yeah. So if somebody wanted a weapon, they had a weapon. But the thing was, everybody was happy to be where we were because they were literally getting stabbed to death at the medium security prison.
They didn't want to risk going to medium, so they behaved.
Right next door, people are getting stabbed. you know, and you fuck up, and that's where they send you. At first you're in the hole up there, but if you fuck up enough, then they bump you back up to medium security prison where people get stabbed and raped and killed over potato chips.
But they're really good potato chips,
They
right?
are. You should have eaten your whole shebang crumbs like I did because they're fantastic.
I think I have tasted the crumbs, but like I don't really remember anymore. They had real potato chips in there. They had Doritos and Lay's. And
You
I
say
do not
that
like
as if
Doritos.
those are superior potato chips.
Doritos
are my.
not. Oh, I do not like Doritos.
They're my
You
favorite.
get too dirty. Your fingers get all.
I
covered in
like
that shit.
Doritos. I had some last year, and the trouble, like, I like 5 Doritos. When you start eating too many, which is, I was on a drive, so I was just eating too many. It makes me sick. I felt bad.